I'm Aidine Calvert and I'm the Managing Director of an agency called Real Nation. So I'm a former teacher and I started the company 21 years ago because I wanted to get behind good causes, do good things and I suppose teach in a different way or bring education to students in a different way. So I was obsessed by instruments, music, when I was in primary school, and by the time I was 11, I was playing 11 instruments. And but I decided to concentrate on 4. So music was my passion. I played saxophone, trombone, violin and piano, and I also loved art. Art was something that came really easy to me. So for me, it was always going to be music or art. Yes, actually, I was opportunistic and entrepreneurial. Looking back, when I was 13, because I was so mad about music, there were some really kind of well-known musicians in my town where I grew up in Cavan, and I wanted to play with them. And the only reason I could play with them if I put together a show for the town, like a variety show of local talent, and that would need like an orchestra pit or a band pit to accompany all of the different dances and things like that on stage. So just to play with these bunch of musicians, I organised this big concert for 500 people and then ended up getting to know these musicians and then forming a band with them. Probably like a virtual reality or augmented reality meeting room, like Zoom, but more in like sci-fi film level, where we're all kind of, you can almost touch people. Just bring the meetings to life a bit. It's very hard to read the room or, kind of read people's body language and know whether, okay, they've had enough of that topic, let's move on to something else when you're all on Zoom, because you can't really tell, like, are people fully listening to you or are they scrolling something else, So definitely something that would be bring meetings to life when you can't be in person. I think just to be as open-minded as possible, look at everything through a different lens, ask parents, ask people you meet on the street, ask everyone and look at it through different viewpoints and in as many ways as possible, like focus groups, vox pops, surveys, just try and get as much information as you can, because it's all about testing your idea, testing your hypothesis and looking for that gap. And you'd never know, someone might say something that just really gets you thinking, and then the next person that you talk to, you'll bring that up and you'll find out more. Well, I'd like to put my dad forward now. He's not with us anymore, but if I could bring him back, just because he was so hardworking and he knew his own limitations, he knew himself very well. And he supported himself with brilliant people. He was always open to ideas, and he started like a little concrete business on a horse and cart. But by the time I was growing up, it had 200 people and was doing like really, things in sustainability that was in concrete that was ahead of its time. So, I would like to put my dad forward as one. The other, I really like Isolde Ward and Aidine O'Brien from Food Cloud. I just love what they've done. They opened up their eyes to a really worthy cause and came up with a brilliant idea of creating the system and technology behind matching waste food from catering companies and restaurants, and then also those who need it. So, fantastic, there are amazing examples of social entrepreneurs, and also they went worldwide with that whole concept. And then I suppose you'd have to say someone like Elon Musk. I mean, the founder of Tesla, who wouldn't want to live inside his head for a while? Just like a really different thinker. He thinks outside of the box. His personality, his vision, his drive. So yeah, I suppose they'd be my top 3. For me, because my business model is based on long-term relationships with clients. So for me, it would be dropping standards or not doing a good job, disappointing either the participants of our projects and programs or disappointing the clients and not meeting their expectations. So, you know, there's only a small pool of people in Ireland, clients in Ireland, businesses that would be interested in the kind of work we do. So, you know, it isn't a case of, oh, well, we lost another one, let's just pick up another one next week. You absolutely have to do a good job and, you know, and keep your stakeholders happy. I definitely think it's resilience. There'll be good days and there'll be bad days. And sometimes you can have many bad days in a row and you think, oh my God, is this a trend? Is it never going to end? You know, a problem has come up, a cherished staff member, you know, decides to seek new opportunities, suppliers let you down, a client, you know, decides to go in a different direction. It can sometimes feel, you know, like it comes on top of you a bit, but you have to learn how to ride the ups and the downs. It's always going to come around. And, you know, just because it's bad today doesn't mean it's going to be bad tomorrow. And, you know, like every week is different, every month is different. You just kind of have to be resilient, take a step back and, you know, and ride the wave. So, yeah, I mean, I suppose I built the business around my particular skill set. I was a teacher, so obviously education is important. I did psychology as part of my master's, so that was important. And then during the time that I was a musician, I mean, I was in a band and, you know, I would have organised a lot of gigs and a lot of events, and all the way through college, I organised all the events for the students in college. So there was always going to be like a big kind of event side to the business. And I suppose I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs, so I understood the basic concept of money in, money out. Your income needs to be more than your expenditure, you know. But, you know, over the years, I have become aware of myself, my limitations, but also my worth. And the creative side, the good part of it is that it allows me to probably look at things a little bit differently, a different angle from others in the company. I'd be kind of known in my company as the big picture person, but then it's really important to work with other people who deal in the detail, the logistics, the numbers, and together we can then figure out how to realise something or bring something to life. So we all have our little parts. Yeah, so I'm trying to get more structured as time goes on. So normally before 11, I'd have meetings with the various departments in the company. So we have education department, design and sort of events and experiential. So I'd meet with each of the heads, and maybe if there's a particular project live, I'd meet with that project manager and like, how's it going? What are you doing? You know, kind of like structure the internal stuff. Is there anything I need to be worried about? Are we all happy with this? Do we think it's going the right direction? Could we do it better? And then normally catch up with clients for the rest of the morning, and then I try as much as I can to keep the afternoon free, because ours is a very reactive business, so things always crop up. So all those kind of meetings, or even the stuff that I you know, working on my own proposals or my own ideas or my own research for different aspects of the company, would be done in the afternoon. So, well, for me, it is become trustworthy. So be honest, transparent. Don't set such a high expectation that you're not, you know, like everyone can be optimistic, but like we would always kind of go, okay, this is probably as good as it's going to go. Are you happy with that? You know, and like it's better to tease those things out at the start. And also, you know, if something isn't going as well, to, you know, to let them know early, but also come up with a solution and go, okay, so this isn't going great. So we've decided we're now doing this. Do you agree? Do you have any other ideas yourself? Because when you bring them into the process, you know, it kind of, they're part of the team. And then, like I always feel in my company that it's not about the things that go really well. You know, you don't really learn from things that have just gone well. Sometimes it can be fluke. Sometimes, you know, it's like, oh, we're such good planners, that went fantastically. But it's like when things aren't going well, how did you cope with it? How did you fix it? How did you, you know, and I think that's very valuable to clients. Like, and as well as that, be yourself. You know, like your friends like you, so why wouldn't clients like you for being yourself? And thankfully, some of the clients I've had over the years have become friends, and it's because they trust us. Well, the best part is realising your vision, building something that speaks to your passion. The buck stops with you for good and for bad. And for good, it's like having that like sense of achievement. Your decisions brought that to life. It paid off, isn't it great? But when the buck stops with you and it's, things aren't going as well, like you have to be the problem solver when they're not going well, or like if you're the sole owner like me, sometimes that can be a bit lonely. It's like there's never anyone, you can't go on holiday without kind of being accountable. So that's why I got married at Christmas time, because all the staff were off, the clients were off, so it is that kind of buck stopping with you as well, for good and for bad. It's either side of the same coin. Many times. The one that I remember was a meeting with a well-known charity in Ireland, and we were meeting, and it was quite formal. The chairperson was there, and making a presentation, and it seemed to go really well. And then the chairman asked me, "Are you 26 or 32?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm nearly 40, thank you." And he went, "I meant, are you in 26 counties or 32 counties?" And I was so red for the rest of the meeting that I found it very difficult to carry on. But we still laugh about that many years later. I think I'd say it goes back to getting to know yourself and knowing your individual skills and strengths. Like, no person is perfect at everything. That absolutely doesn't exist. So it's like knowing what you're not good at and, trying to work with someone who is good at that. But also, definitely, my company anyway, if you ask for a dig out, you ask for help, then be prepared the next time to give that help to someone else, and that everyone should roll up their sleeves when help is needed, and you need to get something off the ground, or you need help to do something, or you're against a deadline. So they would be the two things I would say would be important. So I'd be fairly old school, as it would be all about referrals, and that whole thing you said about when you have a customer, keep your customer. And in my business, a lot of my clients would be marketing professionals, and they tend to move around from company to company. So if you do a good job for them in one company, chances are they'll crop up in another company and give you a call. So it's all about standards, doing a good job, and becoming that trustworthy piece. I definitely ask for referrals, like ask people, have you ever used them before? What are they like? What's the quality of the product, the work, the service? Ask loads of questions as well, and ask to see their work, and have a good scout on their website, and, have a good look around and see what they've done. Do they have examples? That kind of thing. And trust the people who say, "Oh yeah, they're good." Well, I mean, I was in college before mobile phones and before the internet took off, so they would be the two, but definitely the internet. I suppose there's been a few, but I think I've only I think early on in the company I maybe didn't appreciate or invest in my teammates, my staff, as much as I should have, and now I realise how important the team is, and like when you get someone that you really work well with, and you should help chart their development in the company, and really invest and make them see a future with you as well. So I suppose over the years I could count probably about 5 people. I was like, oh, if I tried harder they wouldn't have gone to that agency now, and they've been there forever, and it's like, so that has been a big learning for me, in that, like we spend a lot of time investing in our clients and making sure our clients are happy, but something, you have to invest in your staff and your team as well. So thankfully now that's what we do. I suppose chopping and tailing it. My very initial project became like Ireland's biggest competition programme called Form and Fusion back in the day, which I did as an art and design teacher, and then started the company on the back of it. But after 7 years, a government white paper cited that particular initiative as the reason why there was a surge in art and design uptake in third level. So I was really proud of that, because that's kind of why I started the company and why I wanted to do what I did. But then I suppose, like, we've won lots of awards, sponsorship awards and event awards and things like that. But the biggest one for us would be the World Health Organization Award for combating obesity. And that's for our model of a programme called Food Dudes. And basically, it was only one of 9 worldwide in that year that we won it. So we're very proud of that. And, you know, we're always trying to, it's a hard one to top, but we're always trying to top that. So, I mean, like, things are pretty rosy at the moment. You know, obviously last year schools were closed and events were banned. So, you know, we were really at stalemate. But we have a new lease of life now, new staff, and that brings new expertise. And so we're looking to expand our educational programmes into more learning and development in HR departments at companies. And we're also looking to do some of our educational programmes in the UK. So that's a whole new way of working, whole new territory, and obviously a lot of schools over there. So a whole new challenge.
Do you think pineapple should be on pizzas? Yes.
Yes.
Or no? Yes. Okay. So there you go.